Disciples of Jesus look to the future. Listen to me, vision without action is merely a dream. Action without vision is a waste of time, and vision with action can change the whole world. He will speak to you. The question is, are you listening? No, we're good.
We're good. I'll just keep my foot up too. Welcome to the Real Strength Podcast. I'm so glad you're listening in. This podcast is to strengthen you in spirit, soul, and body. And we have, of course, always our residential genius for the podcast, Pastor Jeff Klingenberg. And one of my dear friends joining us today, Toby Teakell.
All right, hey everyone.
Yes,
I think you've called me genius before.
A part of our podcast. Well, I'm running out of adjectives to capture the brilliance of how much you know in off-the-cuff conversation. What people probably don't realize about this podcast is most of the research and planning is done here, and then most of the content comes from here and here, where the guests are.
It's done where?
Because y'all are just bringing all this wisdom that's just baked into who you are. My job is just to bring it out, really.
Okay.
So genius felt appropriate. I've used theologian, I've used pastor, I've used...
Have you mentioned handsome yet?
You can.
Keep going.
You can use that,
right?
yeah. You can definitely use that. Well, okay, so today's conversation, the reason we have Toby Teakell with us, probably most of our viewers know you, actually, because you're one of the most well-known people, probably in our church community. We've been friends for over 10 years.
12 or 13, probably.
I mean, I'm 32 and I was 18, so...
That's how many?
14?
It's 14.
Okay,
See? Y'all are
Quick
the
math.
brains. I'm the, show host. Anyway, yeah, so 14 years that I've known you and just watching you, do your thing. You know people, you're a great friend, you know Fort Worth,
And Fort Worth
Parker
knows you.
County.
Love the city. Hopefully for all the best reasons. So, yeah.
Yeah, you're one of the most, friendly people who's really made an impact in my life about how relationships can look, how long relationships can last, how healthy different types of relationships can be. So when we were talking about this podcast and setting up this conversation, we want to add strength to people in their soul. We're in the soul realm of strength, and that's in your relationships. It's your mind, will, and emotions, the piece of you, the innermost part of you that comes alive when you're around people that you are comfortable with and connect well in with. And that, coupled with our yearly theme being one another, and that powerful combo of people reaching across maybe divisions they wouldn't normally breach to build relationships. We're like, who could we have in this conversation that has done that well? And I was like, I don't know many better than Toby Teakell.
Yeah, the answer was easy.
Well, thank you. That's an honor. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Dad was like, 100%, let's get Toby on the podcast.
Who's two people away? So you, then two people away, all the way around concentrically, your life in Fort Worth, everybody knows.
Yeah.
I mean, you know somebody and they know somebody, and then that gets everybody.
What's that degree of separation? It's like you're one Toby Teakell away from the
is
entire city.
Well, frankly, I feel like half of that might be a cop-out on my part. I love connecting people because if somebody needs something, I'm going to find somebody that's an expert in that field or that's going to fit that need. Or what's the beauty about having such a great church and a fruitful church is there's a lot that I don't have to do. I just get to point them to somebody that goes to our church or somebody in our church that's going to steer them in the right direction. So
that's good.
As much as it's about really wanting to help that person, it's also a little bit about, I don't have to do this if I connect them to somebody. So selfishly, but
that's genius.
Yeah, but it's always about getting the right person in front of somebody that's going to connect with them. We can't all, be best friends with everyone. That's something I feel like I learned the hard way. But there's always someone out there for somebody, whether it's companionship, friendship, or community in church. So you'd love to be a part of it.
Yeah, the relational aspect of the soul is a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the mind, will, and emotions. You got stuff that you can tell people think about you that's not accurate, feel about you that's not accurate, and are making decisions about you inaccurate. I just went mind, emotions, and will. But anyway, and it's not accurate, but nevertheless, you're going to love them anyway, which you're so good at that. I don't know if you get criticism or not, but
Thank you, for sure.
You choose to love them anyway and help connect them anyway, and that shows a strength in your soul.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
It does, actually. That's a cool insight. Yeah, so a little bit about you, Toby, so our listeners who maybe shockingly may not know you, tell us a little bit about your life now your job, family, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Give us a little picture of Toby Teakell.
Yeah, so, do we start with age and everything? 35, married for 7 years, just celebrated our 7th year anniversary
Congrats.
a few weeks ago. Thank you. 2 beautiful little girls.
Yeah.
An unbiased opinion, they're the cutest girls in the entire world. That's what somebody told me. So, but Palmer is going to be 4 in July, and Lucy is going to be 2 in November, and we still want to grow the family. So, kind of, I guess, what's the term around here? Have a Klingenberg family? Just how many can you have? No, we definitely want 3, 4. Who knows? So, but yeah, I've been coming to High Ridge since I actually was looking at my old journals the other day. Which is convenient for the podcast, 2014. So fall of 2014 was when I was consistently started coming.
Yeah.
Was invited in 2012 or 13.
By me?
No, it was through, I had some friends that found 2-7 when I was in college.
Okay.
And so they had been going a little bit. 2-7 was the young adults for the viewers. It was the old young adults program.
Tuesday night, 7 o'clock.
Tuesday night, 7 o'clock. Is it
really
still that?
difficult name. No, it's young adults.
Okay. Well, is it still Tuesday night at 7 o'clock?
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
I mean, it could be 2-7.
yeah.
It wasn't a huge stretch. And like, name the ministry. He's like, 2-7.
2-7. Love it.
So,
Yeah,
no, just young adults.
and so they were going, met some good friends, talk about community. They used to hang out. I got invited to a hangout one time and met some friends. And at the time, I was going to a small church by TCU called Crossroads Church. Pastor Sean and Lynette Reed, I don't know if you know them. They're involved with like EXO conference and marriage stuff.
Oh,
They used to have a not just roommates ministry, and I love them, love their church. I credit Pastor Sean for really establishing the foundation of my faith.
That's good.
Strong Bible teacher, worship, and that was incredible. So it really showed me I feel like I don't have the gift of worship, but I have the heart of it. So I'm not I'm not blessed with the voice, but I've got the heart of it.
That's like 50% of the gift.
Yeah. Well, I you don't want to put me on the platform. Let's just say that. But
Maybe not with a loud mic, but yes.
Just don't hook it up at all. Anyways, I was involved with a strong church around TCU, but it was smaller, and most of the members there in the community, they were older with families, and I was in college, about to graduate college, or just graduated at the time, and on the subject of community, I just felt like, hey, there's not much outside of Sunday that I'm being able to connect with like-minded people. I always found myself going to other ministries or other churches, young adult programs to find that community of like-minded people. And so once I met some friends from High Ridge, at the time it was like Cody and Jake and those folks.
Yep.
Oh,
yep.
boy.
And I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe there is something cool about this church. And at the time I was a rugby player, played in college and then after college. And
I remember that.
yeah, Tuesdays and Thursdays were all about rugby practice, and all the weekends were rugby tournaments and games. And Sunday, I'm waking up, bruised and beaten and crawling to church. And so,
Literally in a scooter.
yeah. After I broke my leg, I was in a scooter, and that ended that. That was a blessing in disguise, actually. We can get to that story later.
Broke your leg or tore your Achilles?
I broke my fib tib and then dislocated my ankle. So the Dak Prescott injury, where my toes were facing behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that one. So,
I had that one.
and not to get off a tangent, but I had prayed. Rugby was keeping me away from really what I felt called to do in ministry and be involved. And I remember praying to God 2 nights before I broke my foot or my ankle. I said, God, break me, do something, because I can't.
Wow.
I said those words.
Wow.
And I don't think God broke my ankle, but he permitted it, and here we are. But, rugby was keeping me away from being involved on Tuesdays, being around community, which is where I really wanted to be. And so the night before I broke it, I was at a Hillsong concert with all of our friends from High Ridge and Dallas.
I remember that.
And then I went to Shreveport, broke my leg, and that was the end of rugby, and I jumped right into serving, on a scooter. And so long story short, I was still kind of halfway into High Ridge, around rugby, and your 21st birthday.
Yep.
21st birthday.
Yeah, I think it was 21st or 20th birthday.
20th. Yeah, 24, whatever that, or 2014, whenever that was.
Well, both of them you would have still been at A&M.
2014, I was 20.
Okay, maybe it's 20. Yeah, maybe it was the 20th. I was going to say, because We were at the movie theater, drive-in movie theaters,
Yeah.
and Kincaid's Burgers.
Yeah.
And your brother Josiah was there. A lot of
Yeah.
people were there, but Josiah, I remember meeting him and just loved him. He was such a cool guy, and really, we all got to hang out at your birthday party, and I was like, you know what, this is a special group of people. I want to be involved, and that's what started my journey into joining High Ridge. And so here we are.
I knew I was in there somewhere.
12 years later, you were a big part of it, and you know, since I'm just rambling, Chelsea Reedland, I don't know if I've ever told her this, but she was a huge part of really my faith being where it is today, and just utilizing the gifts that God's given me, because she had asked me out of young adults, like my second young adults ever, if I wanted to serve. And I said, I'm like, I just got here, we just met. Don't I have to like fill something out? Is there like a security thing? Because all the other young adult ministries I've been to in Fort Worth, I wanted to get involved. And some of them made you do like a year-long, process of getting involved with the church. And I can see the beauty behind that, I guess, from understanding the ministry. And if you're putting the face on a ministry, you want to make sure that you're like-minded and following what they believe. But she had asked me that, and I said, okay, where do you need me? She said, kids and children's. And I said, I love kids and children. Sure, why not? And so I started serving in kids ministry and teaching in kids ministry, and I really feel like that grew the gifts that I know the Lord has given me from a teacher or just a connector, and just loving on people. And so you two, and of course all my friends I've met here, are just a big part of me coming and staying. So yeah.
Well, I did not realize that happened in that order with you and kids ministry with Chelsea Reedland, which is so cool to think about. It feels like another lifetime ago. That
12
all
years.
it feels like longer in some ways, but
Well, they now have moved to an extra local ministry that's based out of High Ridge called Hope Local.
Right. Yeah.
So they are a dynamic combo on getting kids into Christian homes for foster care, or getting kids into Christian homes for adoption.
Yeah.
They are making a huge difference. So shout out to Hope Local.
Yeah, love them. I mean, I'm adopted as well from birth, and so I feel a deep connection to what they do, and it's so special. I love them so much. So shout out to them.
Yeah, and then fast forward, over the last 12 years, you went from rugby, and then you got into career field. Mm-hmm. And while all that's happening, you also, somehow I think you've served in almost all the ministries at High Ridge.
I believe so, yeah.
Well, you did. Didn't you do one of the women's ministry events and the men came and served the women? Weren't you there for one of those?
I ran the camera.
Yep.
Yep. People
That's
laugh
commitment.
at me. People laugh at me because the camera did this at one point, and I realized I was dozing off a little bit. Not I won't say who was
that
speaking.
Camera one was sinking.
Yeah, I won't blame the speaker. It was me. I probably got a bad night's sleep the night before.
Was I speaking?
No.
That would be hilarious.
No, but I think I've served in just about every ministry.
I know you've done ministry. Missions, kids, youth, young adults. You did that one thing for women's. You've done men's. Mm-hmm. Is there one you haven't done?
Worship.
Creative worship.
Yeah.
Well, tech arts just counts as creative.
Sure, yeah. Worship, singing on the platform.
That's the only one you haven't done?
And I'll keep it off. That's fine.
I don't know. I feel like we should just go ahead and check
might as well
every box.
check. Get him on so it can be every place of service.
We have the senior pastor's approval.
Yeah, sign off for it, please. Yeah, we'll make it happen.
That would put you ahead of me. I've never served in men's ministry, ever. I don't think I've done any event ever.
Why not?
Just feels like they have all that they need.
Yeah.
Well, you need to also check every box.
That's true.
Maybe. If you do worship, I'll do men's.
Deal. So that was a little easier for you than me, but we'll do it. We'll make it happen.
Now that was tricky. Y'all that are watching saw the handshake, but those that aren't watching, she just baited him by making him shake hands on this deal. So
yeah,
he's stuck now.
I like to say that I'm an opportunist.
Yeah. Well, Sam's great at editing, so we can just edit that part out. So.
Yeah, but he also loves capturing the full, authentic experience.
That's right.
Okay, so anyways, career-wise, you moved. Did you go into medical field right away?
No, so right out of college, I worked for a wealth management firm. I was a marketing associate for them. Lasted 9 months there. I won't say the company, but I was a marketing associate for a wealth management firm that specialized in retirement planning, referral only, part of my job that had me cold calling. So I just found that extremely difficult to cold call, but also rely on people that were already, members to refer folks. So at one point I looked out my office window and it was snowing, and I said, I'd rather be scraping the ice off the sidewalk than doing this job still. And that's when I knew I had to leave. And so at the time I didn't know what I wanted to do. My friend was in medical sales and I thought that would be great, but I took a job doing air balancing. So I worked with HVAC and, engineers that designed, the balance of airflow in rooms to go test, adjust, and balance that. Actually, the father of a member at a church owned the company I worked for. So did that for a year to the day, and then I got into medical sales. So I've been doing that for 12 years now. So,
Okay.
Yeah, and love it.
And you're in that space. You are networking, talking to people, selling product, but it's very relational.
Very extremely relational. Yeah, it's interesting. Just I feel like I came in. They used to call it kind of the Wild West of selling, where you could just walk into a hospital with your product and say, "Hey, doc, I'm so and so. Nice to meet you. This is what my product does. Let's try it today." I caught a little bit of that early on in my career, and now it is very, very much so contract driven. But it's still all about relationships. I mean, you have to go and introduce yourself, convince somebody who you are, why you should be there. Have a presence in the room that what you have to represent is legitimate, and then definitely don't make them feel uneasy, and establish a long-term relationship with them, because not everybody's going to give you a shot on the first time. And that goes for, really any aspect of life. So
Christianity as well.
Amen to that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So you've had to hone in this skill of relationship and connecting with people and building bridges. So I'd love to kind of start diving into that.
Sure. Yeah.
If you're ready. When did you first realize you had a gift of connection with people? Like, have you always been, like, even growing up, were you just like the kid with all the friends?
Yes.
I do feel that way.
bet.
Yeah, I was always, I would like to say likable, but I also feel
We would
like
all feel that way.
yeah, I
We
would
all
like to
wanna
feel that
believe
way.
we're
But
likable.
selfishly, again, I feel like it probably started of me just wanting to be liked, and so I feel oftentimes I became kind of a chameleon to whoever I was talking with. Not so much changing my morality or ethics, but I really didn't care what you did or stood for. I just wanted to befriend you. I wanted you to like me. And so that way I didn't have, I guess, any enemies in general. So, early on, I feel like I was always the one running around, like kind of life of the party, wanting to make friends, be funny, make people laugh, make people happy, all the way up to, I guess now. It's a little different with two kids, but yeah.
Yeah, and of your two, Palmer's that way, right?
She is, for
Yeah.
sure. Lucy's a little, she's not quite there yet, but she does follow Palmer.
Love Lucy, though.
Yeah.
You know,
Love the way she
you're
watches.
naturally wired like the Apostle Paul. So, excuse me. He said, "I'm all things to all people that I might win some." So you just described. I try to. You didn't say this, but I'll paraphrase.
Yeah.
Making a connection with people, finding some conversation or some point of common interest, so that they'll connect with you. That's a great technique for advancing the kingdom of God.
Absolutely. Yeah, and one that I feel like people who are not naturally gifted in really benefit to learn from those who have the gifting and also kind of honed in on how to leverage that gifting, especially in a modern context like you have. By our observation, you have friends that are, in every generation.
Yeah.
Older, same age, younger. Like you figured out how to connect across a lot of barriers. You can connect across work barriers, family barriers, social economic barriers, age barriers. How have you figured out how to navigate? What is one thing you do when you're approaching someone and building a bridge that helps you build towards someone that's maybe a further reach from you?
Yeah. Ultimately, I just feel like everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to be liked. And everybody, whether they meant it or not, they want or need community. And so, you're talking about the Apostle Paul. I feel like that's, I don't want to call it a technique, but kind of a technique that I use when I talk to people. It doesn't matter who they are, where they're from, what they're doing. Oftentimes I'll find it helpful in Ubers, like with an Uber driver. We'll just start talking, and I'll always try to dig out a connection that allows me to bring up church, faith, or the gospel, or anything along those lines, just to start that conversation. And so oftentimes it's, oh, where are you from? And, every now and then you'll get an Uber driver from Africa. It's like, oh, I've been to Africa before. It's like, oh, what part? I went to Rwanda with my church. And then all of a sudden you're talking about church. Same with people in Fort Worth. It's like, oh, where do you live in Fort Worth? Oh, what part of the city to live in? It's like, over here. It's like, oh, that's by Christ Chapel, right? I was like, yeah, I tried that in college. I go to High Ridge now. It's out, in Parker County. And so I feel like most conversations that I have, I've talked to 1,000 people who are going to listen to this and be like, we've never talked about church before, but just, moments like that, I always feel like I try to bring something into that conversation, because I feel like that's kind of what I'm comfortable talking about. Really.
Yeah.
So
What's interesting is, like, hold your thought. People will talk about where they live and why they live there, and what their hobbies are and why their hobbies are that, and the schools that their kids are in and why they're there, and not think it's just as natural to connect with people and let them know. You found he's an African driving an Uber car here. Yeah. You reference Rwanda. And then it's so easy to make connections like that if we just won't be afraid of it, which you're not. It's natural for you. That's what you can help the audience understand, is just let it be natural, have a conversation, and then let that conversation connect to something that could be eternal.
Yeah.
And we can do that with church life too.
Yeah.
Like, what occupies most of your time? Well, I work at such. Then what's next? Oh, just family. Yeah. And if they return the question, which you can say, well, I work da-da-da-da, and then, my second love in life is my church. I love my church. Yeah. And then that hopefully that won't close the door. It will cause them to want to probe and find out why, especially, and you're so good at conversation, probing and finding out why their second thing that they mention that's significant in their life, you find out why it is, and it just is a natural conversational connection that allows sometimes for the kingdom to go forth.
Yeah, what I was going to ask is, do you, when you meet someone new, go into that with the intention of seeking them out? So you're like, is it a curiosity that fuels that, or do you plan ahead of time, or are you just kind of on this like journey of connection? As many times as you connect, that's what you're going for?
Yeah, I would say situational. If I'm anywhere around, Alito or our church, I feel like it's a lot easier because I can invite them to church at the end of the day. And so, and just where we are as a community, being in Texas, the odds of you bringing up Christianity and not being, fought about it, are somewhat on the easier side for me to be able to bring that conversation up. And if it goes the opposite way, I love that conversation. It's okay, about Christianity, you weren't raised in a different belief most likely around here, so why are you against it now? And those conversations are fun. But definitely at work, I like to bond or relate with the end users, what we call, whether it's a nurse or a surgeon. Like to bond with them. And one thing I always want to bring up is faith. And they say you can't talk about faith in the workplace, but you can if it's organic. I mean, you're not bringing anything up that's gonna. If they're offended, you'd frankly in that role, you just stop talking about it, and if it presents itself another time, then great. So
people build up a mountain in their mind that it's not going to be able to happen, but it can just be naturally conversational and not be offensive.
Right.
It's just an interaction that you have with people, and you're not trying to, you're not getting your Bible out of your satchel and holding it up and shaking it while you're talking. Obviously, that's not going to work with anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to help people understand. It's a naturally healthy thing.
Yeah.
For your soul to be healthy enough that you can just have a conversation, and you're so good at that. Have a conversation and not worry about it.
And you mentioned soul, mind, will, and emotions. Mental health and anxiety and stuff are something I deal with quite often. And so lately, I feel like my mind isn't always in the best place, and your thoughts are so powerful. I mean, you can look at science and understand that is true, and you can look at the Bible and understand that it's true, and those aren't separate; those are together. God made it all, and so oftentimes you can think about how a conversation is going to go, and almost not manifest. I don't believe in that, but you can almost will it into existence by thinking the negative side of how a conversation is going to go, and almost forcing the conversation that way because you've already thought that way, if that makes sense. So if you're expecting the worst out of a conversation, it's probably going to go that way. Yeah. And so
it's like the vision you set for it. Like you always talk about, anti-vision is a vision. It's just setting you on course to achieve what you don't want.
Yeah.
versus like having a vision, a faith-filled vision, instead of setting a course for what you do want.
Yeah, a no vision or a not vision,
Yeah.
or a never vision or an anti-vision is a terrible vision, but it becomes a vision.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not going
becomes
to
a
get hurt
plan.
at church again. I am just not going to be hurt at church again.
Yeah.
Well, you just establish your vision.
Yeah.
You're going to be anti-Christ, or because Christ is the church and loves the church. He's the the connection of all of the church and all the
Yeah.
members of it. And so when you do that, it just kills things.
Yeah.
So how many times do you run into people in conversation that have church hurt?
You know, church hurt in general, I feel like it's less than 10% of the time.
Okay.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
It's against the
Anti-church would, it's 2%. I mean, I could think about, like I said, I can think about how a conversation is going to go, but really the odds of me encountering that in 35 years, I've never been punched about it. I've never been hit or spit on about talking about my faith, and not saying that, it's going to happen, but, or it's not going to happen. But, I feel like the church hurt. Let me take that back. Church hurt is very common nowadays, I feel like. But when it leads to a vulgar or negative conversation, that's where I say about 10% or less.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like everybody's experienced it. And then how do you navigate the conversation? You sympathize with them. You don't dismiss them.
Yeah.
But then you remind them that, that's not God's nature, and you explain to them God's nature and
Yeah.
how much he cares
That's
for them.
good.
And honestly, you can invite them to give it another shot, whether
Yeah.
it's at your church or another church, or just meeting together for a little bit before they give church a try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And I love that you started this all off with, you said that everybody wants to be loved. And then you said you try to find connections and really try to find a way to get people to talk about their faith.
yeah.
Do you equate people feeling love and feeling seen with faith? Like, was that an intentional connection you made?
Yes, so going back to the young adult ministry, we started the Connect coach was
Yeah,
the
we
role I
did.
had as a Connect coach, and I was really
I think you were
good.
elevated to captain, actually.
Captain, yeah,
think you
I'll
were
take captain
over the whole
yeah,
squad.
Lieutenant General, whatever it was.
Rear Admiral.
I 4-star,
Joint Chiefs of
5-star.
Staff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We and the whole purpose of that role was to identify new folks that would come into young adults, and then connect them with somebody that I thought would be a good fit for them. Because like I said, I felt a burden to make sure everyone was included. Impossible to take on when you got 150 or so people we were having in young adults at the time.
Yeah.
And so I was really good at being able to recognize, who's new, walking through the door, walk up, approach them, talk to them a little bit, acknowledge if it's their first time or not, who they know, how they found out about us, get their contact info down so either myself or somebody else on my team can reach out throughout the week just to establish and continue that connection. Might be losing my train of thought here, but it was very easy to realize who was there for community and who was there for companionship.
Ah.
And so two things that might seem similar, but they're definitely not. And so it's easy to identify that. And, as someone that I considered a lot of the folks you included as a sister, I felt protection. And so it was easy to identify
yeah.
those folks. But then I can't remember exactly when, but I was very convicted that these people need God too.
Yeah.
And what a better place for them to be, even if that's something that they think that they're after, is companionship. But they're in the best place to find something that's also ultimately going to
Yeah.
sustain them.
Yeah.
And so I started, less of wedging them out and trying to stop something that I felt like they were after, into inviting them into, well, hey, you come sit by me and let's learn about what we're going to learn today, and then we'll establish that connection.
So Toby the connector had to make a shift from Toby the protector.
Yeah,
So that he
a
could
little
still
bit.
connect with people that he wanted to protect
A little
us from.
bit. Yeah,
That's funny.
Yeah, or especially if someone was eyeballing Taylor, who I liked at the time. It was
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm going to ask her out. You stay back. So
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not a good connection for you. Here, I've
Right.
got another connection.
Yeah,
It's on the
exactly.
other side
Yeah.
of the room.
Yeah.
So
You
you
start
have-
walking them to the other side of the room, pass them off to somebody, then go back and start talking to whoever's next to Taylor.
yeah, exactly.
Pretty much exactly what Toby did.
Yeah.
Which Taylor, by the way, for those who don't know, is now his wife.
It's now my wife.
Mother of his
Yeah.
2 girls.
Yes, amazing.
Yep.
That's so
And
interesting.
one of your best friends, so
yeah, one of my
love that. Yeah.
longtime best friends.
One of the many that has lived with us.
Yes.
Yeah.
at one time or other.
Yeah.
Yeah, right before we were married.
Yeah.
She moved out of her house, lived with y'all for a couple months, and then in with me once
Yep.
we got married. Yeah.
I remember because we've been friends for so long. I remember you were when you bought your first house. It was before you and Taylor got together, and we had been friends for a while. And you called me and you're like, "Hey, Bree, I think I'm gonna buy this house, and it's gonna sound like a weird question, but I need a woman to come look at the house and say yes, a woman would want to live here."
Yeah.
I was
yeah.
like,
honestly,
"Sure, I can come do that."
I mean, we could go back to college. When I was in college, I wasn't even, I mean, I dated in college, but I wasn't with anybody. I was like, I'm going to marry this woman. And I thought, oh, it's just what you do. I'm going to be 23, 24, find a wife, and I'll be married by then. And then, 27 rolls around. I'm buying my first house. And I knew, I was like, you know what? Probably good to find a house that somebody would want to move into eventually. And so you said, yeah, it's not a junky house. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I totally got the request you're making because you're like, I'm a man, I think like a man, and this is a good investment as a home.
Yeah.
But I want a woman to want to live here. And then y'all got together, you and Taylor did, and when she went to the house, like, so if you don't love the house, you really shouldn't blame Toby. You should blame me.
Yeah.
Because I was the girl that said, yeah, a girl wants to live here. And honestly, Taylor, like, she has such an eye for interior design.
she's
she
great.
made that place. It was a cool house, but she made it, like, really beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, the walls stayed painter beige flat paint, and the futon in the living room until we got married. Because I was like, why would I go spend money if I'm gonna get married to someone? And
Smart.
Yeah.
All men do that. Don't
Yeah.
invest in furniture till you're married.
yeah, it's
We're gonna
switch.
sell it.
It's gonna change anyways. Yeah.
Dad hates this advice.
I might counter that.
He's like,
Yeah.
no, buy the couch you want. And
Well,
then
every
fight to
man
keep it.
needs a man chair.
Yeah.
Every man needs his chair.
Interesting.
The thing is, when you get married, then they throw it out.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I never had one, but I'll let you talk to Taylor because I'd love a lazy boy, or an off-brand lazy boy. I'll say that. Dave Ramsey.
So getting back to the topic, yeah, you Dave Ramsey
Yeah.
fiends.
Getting back to the topic, companionship. Somebody was looking for community, and then how they found faith, or if those are separate. Yeah. I mean, I feel like people are lonely. They want companionship. They want friendship. They want community. What a better place to get that than church.
Yeah.
As long as your church is healthy and doing it the right way, which
Yeah.
thankfully we have a wonderful church that helps people get plugged in, invites
Yeah.
them to groups. We have groups that operate throughout the week, outside of the weekends, which is, you can speak to that, a big part of what we do here at High Ridge and building community.
Yeah.
So definitely directly related, but sometimes you have to dig that, or you have to guide someone that way, because they
Yeah.
might want friendship, but ultimately that's not going to satisfy them. We're going to fail. People
Yeah.
are broken. We're going to fail others. And it's, ultimately Jesus is the one that's going to sustain them in all areas and aspects
Yeah.
of life. But
Yeah.
the community is what, encourages one another and spurs each other on towards love and good deeds.
Which is the theme, one another.
Yeah,
Yep.
one another.
Pulled it back in. Oh, so I have a really hot question that has really hit, I say hot topic kind of question, that has really hit this current cultural landscape about relationships. There's a lot of fear and a lot of misunderstanding for multi-generational conversations. I feel like between you two, y'all are probably the most fearless relational people I know when it comes to approaching and having conversation with someone older or much, much younger. And there's kind of within each generation a little bit of a language gap that kind of forms. There's a view of the world perspective that kind of shifts, and there you have to kind of be on your toes to kind of understand where they're coming from and be able to build a bridge to them. I would love for you both to speak to two things. One, how do you overcome the fear of not knowing how you're going to connect to someone who especially is further away from you generationally or divided in some other way? And then two, when speaking to someone who's not in your generation, how do you overcome that language barrier that has formed? I mean, even for me, talking to some of the youth on Wednesday nights, because my husband's a youth pastor, I find myself asking them to repeat themselves, like, what exactly did you just say? Because I'm trying to piece together the whole phrase and figure out what they mean. And that, to me, that still happens, for people in generations much beyond mine as well. They'll phrase things, and I find myself kind of studying what they say, and I'm like, what do they mean by that phrase? So do you have tips, do you have insights of how you overcome those barriers of fear and of language? I see you already grinning over there.
I'll let you go first because I'll have to think about that.
Well, generations do have their own language, their own innuendo, their own. For example, the way somebody looks and the way they're dressed. How many times has that changed in my lifetime?
For you specifically?
Yeah, I mean, probably
Every 8 months.
20 different things. That's cool. That's
He loves
hip.
to shop, this
I
guy.
like that.
No. I mean, what it's called. So like.
Oh, like your style? Oh, you mean like drip and fit?
Yes.
And,
Yeah, but it's no longer drip.
What is it now?
It's is it vibe? Love your vibe? And
Sure. You could use that.
I can't remember. Or fit. No, it's your fit. Instead of say outfit, like your fit.
I think it's still fit.
Anyway,
But vibe, I definitely see where vibe comes from.
I can't keep up, so
Yeah.
I'll just go ahead and default on keeping up with language changes and what would that be? Cultural lingo. It's kind of like insider trading. You know, if you don't have the connection, then like I would be a terrible insider trader because I have no connections to anything in the financial market. So instead of trying to find out how to do it, I just try to get them talking. So, for example, the way you look or the way your clothes is, we were in Rockland recently, and Pastor Levi, High Ridge Church, Rockland, California, his oldest daughter, Julia, got Victoria, that's the youngest daughter. Julia is the oldest daughter, and so I show up for church, and she looks at me, "Whoa, love your drip, PJ." And it's okay. And I just smiled.
Yeah.
Then a second later, I said, "Hey," to Levi, I said, "Hey, what's drip?" And he said, I think I'm getting it figured out, and that's her dad.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting found. I think she's trying to say she likes your clothes, that what you're wearing looks good. Okay, great. So then later on, he helped me bridge the gap. Obviously, between me and her is probably 50 years, a long time.
Yeah.
And so then later on, the way that I was able to connect in spite of my ignorance was say, "Hey, tell me about what is popular drip these days." And she just came alive wanting to tell me about, the jeans are changing, no longer tight legs, it's loose legs. And she just started telling me all this. And I was like, hey, I made it. I made it past my ignorance just by asking them my tell me about question. So that's the way I'd start.
Yeah.
How do you overcome that fear, though? Like, if people are, like, totally afraid to be caught there and go, oh, I don't know what I would say.
You get people talking, you don't need to be fearful.
Yeah.
Just have faith that the Lord will give you a good question to ask them to get them talking. Because even introverts like and appreciate interest in their life. They might not want to talk about themselves, but they like and appreciate the fact that you're interested in what's beyond the facade.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's good. I will ask just a follow-up question to that. How do you incorporate that when you're on the platform preaching? Because oftentimes, I'm sure you're very familiar with your Pastor Jeff isms, where you'll say something, whether it's something you frequently say or every now and then you'll say something. The other day, I think it was 3 weeks ago, you said...
I love an example. Yes, Toby.
You said 6'7", and I don't know if that was intentional or not, but, you hear the kind of everyone in the church giggle or laugh. And in those moments like that, I feel like that, can get somebody from a different generation perked up and start paying attention a little bit more. So do you feel like you do some of those things intentionally, or do you plan on kind of planting some, language from different generations just to connect with everyone in church on a Sunday?
That wasn't intentional.
Okay.
I know the 6'7" thing, and I know that young people love it. But I also know the origin of
Much younger people.
Much younger.
He's not talking about us.
Yeah.
We're not young
We're not young
anymore.
anymore.
Kids that if you all would have married when you were 20 would be teens in youth ministry now.
Yeah.
Or close. And they're the ones, 6'7", they're kind of juggling back and forth. And so I knew about that, and I had to figure out the origin, which I wish I hadn't have done because it's a terrible origin.
Oh, does it even mean anything?
Yeah,
It does.
comes out of I
guess
don't want to say Santorini.
No. I think you're right.
Santorini, yeah. 6 is the number of man.
Okay.
7 is the number of God.
Okay. Yeah.
And the guy that started it, is he a rapper?
Yeah, I think so. Artist.
An artist. Wanted to make it seem like either choice you make, if you choose God or you choose humanism, it's all okay. No big deal. They're equal. They're equal on the playing field.
Wow. Okay.
But
He's like known for like witchcraft and
Yeah.
He's into the whole numerology of it and all
wow.
that. So
Because you were talking, I mean, that's where you were going and actually talking about in church. So I didn't even know that was a.
So I was talking biblical
I thought
numbers.
it was just nonsense.
What message was that?
I mean, it is nonsense.
Yeah, but there is a meaning behind it.
It was dreams. You're talking about dreams and
Oh,
filling your
numbers,
life.
understanding numbers and dreams. So if you see 3 of something, that's a biblical number. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, the Trinity. If you see 4, no big deal. I just gave some biblical numbers. I gave 6, the number of man.
Yeah, okay.
And then I gave 666, the number of the devil.
Yeah.
And then 7's the number of God, 7 days of creation. And so I said, you know how it is sometimes, 6-7. And I thought, since I'm doing numbers right here to help people understand their dreams, if they see something 6 times, possibly more of a base thing and not a spiritual thing. And so I was just trying to do that, and it just popped in my head. There's a bunch of young people in this audience. Just go ahead and see how you do with it, and see if it makes a connection.
Yeah.
And so I did. I said, 6-7, and boom, immediately. I don't know if you noticed. Everybody below age 20 in the room was laughing and slapping each other.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought, I hate the origin of this.
Yeah.
I don't want to be known as one who embraces. Is it Santorini? Am I getting that right?
I
Didn't
don't
even know
know.
it was a
I don't have my
name.
computer with
So-
me this time.
Whatever
so.
that kind of voodoo-ish type religion. And the guy comes out of Haiti, right?
Again, I don't know.
I researched
it's been
it
a
all.
while
but
since
anyway, I just did that. It just was spontaneous, wasn't planned.
Yeah.
Just wanting to make a connection with younger people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I can't hide the fact my chin's pretty white. So, unless I go get it colored, which I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend the time or the money.
Yeah.
So
It wouldn't suit you. Good
It'd be
recall,
obvious. Yeah.
though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Toby?
Yeah.
So do you plan language to connect generationally?
I would say probably. I'm trying to come up with an example, but I feel like it's all about, who you're talking to and the intent behind it. So if I'm, Johnny Campbell, if I'm meeting with him to just soak up all of his wisdom, I'm going to want to know the language that he's speaking to me and understand it without spending most of the time asking. So, yeah, I feel like I would adapt and do my research. Same with if I'm talking to youth. I would try to understand the times, which I'm sure y'all do all the time, just trying to decipher
It's hard.
what these kids are going through nowadays, but also how they talk. And so I find myself probably doing it, but yeah, I would say, put in the effort. I mean, if you care about something, you'll put in the effort. So just
that's
learn
a good
about
thought.
which
learn
is
about it.
easy now, and I don't want to be the one on our podcast to promote AI. However, you can just go to ChatGPT and just say, I'm meeting with a 60-year-old businessman who manages multi-million dollars worth of properties for a wealthy billionaire family. So you could say something like that. Give me phrases and words that would be appropriate. Boom, it'll just pop them out.
Yeah.
Or I'm getting ready to go speak at a youth event. The audience will be ages 12 to 18. Give me a couple of phrases that are current phrases that would help connect me as a plus 60-year-old guy with kids as young as my grandkids. And boom, it'll give you some. And so then you might have to ask it to explain so that you're not just saying something you don't. But it's not as hard now. It's much easier now, in my opinion. Once again, I'm not promoting AI. I'm just saying you can just a couple of minutes of research can give you some insights on how to connect with people, which is which was the purpose of us having this podcast. Is
Connecting.
people connecting to people and understanding where the condition of their soul in order to try to get them to move forward with the Lord. So I would just say that's something I would do in that setting.
And I would say, just hearing you doing your research and getting familiar with someone or whether it be their race, income bracket, age, whatever it may be, getting yourself familiar with where they are in life and who they stand for, their culture, their identity, whatever it is. Some people might hear that and think, so he's kind of a chameleon. He's coming off of this way. When I say earlier on in the podcast, I said I was a chameleon. No, I want to relate to people and ultimately get back to the fact that what's important to us is Jesus. I will always say, do your research. You're not faking anything or get my thoughts together.
That's exactly the question I had. Is like, where's the line of dishonesty?
I don't believe there is one, because
Okay.
if you care about someone that much or care about something that much, do whatever it takes to win them over. I mean, obviously not whatever, ethical, moral, whatever, but I akin it to this. I know that reading my Bible every day is important. I'm 35. I have a daily reminder on my phone at 8 a.m. to read my Bible. And some people might see that and be like, oh, you're not a real Christian because you have to be reminded. It's like, no, it's that important to me that I'm putting it into my phone.
Good.
Yeah.
Same with my wife. Hey, go get flowers for my wife. Oh, I'm not automatically thinking about doing that on Valentine's Day. No, I think life is busy. It's important to me, so I'm going to remind myself. It's the same with people. If someone you love or you care about enough to preach the gospel to, do your research, do whatever it takes to be able to converse with them and win them over. So,
Yeah.
So let's say
Yeah.
we have people in our audience watching or listening now, and they can't connect to what we're talking about. They're older than I am. So what I would throw out to them, I would say everybody likes to talk about themselves.
Yeah.
So here's a good way. You make a connection. Then you say, tell me about quilting. Tell me everything you know about quilting, if you know that that's an interest they have. Yeah. Or tell me about your first pickup truck if you're talking to an older guy. And was it 3 on the tree? Was it 4 on the floor? Because they love.
I don't even know what that means.
They love
You
talking.
also have to be older, I think. To
Well, see, but older, I make a connection because everybody my age or older, or maybe even younger than me, are going to remember. But
3 on the tree?
You don't know what that means? No. Okay, so you drive an automatic vehicle.
I'm guessing it's the gears.
It is.
Because you did that, but I don't know that phrase. I wouldn't. But keep going. You're making a good point. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, you're laughing.
3 on the tree. What was the other one?
Can I explain 3 on the tree?
Yes.
Okay, so the stick shift is up here right by the column and right by the steering wheel. It's just right there. And so down at the bottom is first gear. Straight up is reverse, but you won't be able to go in reverse if you're going forward. So at the bottom is first, then you go up, neutral's in the middle, and then up forward is second gear, and then straight down is third gear. So you just shift. You got 3 pedals: gas, brake, clutch. And you give gas, then you let up, push in the clutch, and shift. Then back, clutch off, gas down, shift.
And then stall and roll down the hill.
Did you do that? One of you or one of your kids did that?
Probably me.
Anyway,
Continue.
what I'm trying to say is everybody likes to talk about something they know something about.
Yeah.
And if you can just kind of guess your way into that or faith your way into that, being fearful is going to kill it.
Yeah.
Making connections to people and being fearful as you're going into it's going to kill it.
Yeah.
And like I try to make connections. My fishing hole is the gym. I still enjoy working out. I still like sweating. I'll probably be that way, I'm guessing, through the end of my life. I'll still want to be active doing something. And so people in a gym usually are there with purpose. They're wanting to lose weight, or they're wanting to gain muscle, or they're wanting to, get cut, something.
Stay alive.
Yeah. Bouncing back from health. Like there's a guy at the gym now, just started going, had a stroke. He's 22 years old, morbidly obese, had a terrible stroke. And so he's wanting to try to reverse the first 22 years of his life so he can have. And so what I try to do in those situations is just get them talking. And like guys that are successful, you can just walk up and say, you got to pull your earbud out so they'll know that you're wanting to talk, because everybody's listening to their own music. So when you just kind of get close and pull your earbud out, if they don't pull theirs out, then forget it. Put it back in and go back, because they're not wanting to talk. But if you pull their earbud out, they pull their earbud out, and you say, bro, whatever you're doing is working. Just give me one pointer.
Yeah.
I want to look like you when I grow up. I'm probably 20 years old or 30 years older than them.
Yeah.
But still, just hearing that, bro, whatever you're doing is working. Give me one pointer.
Yeah.
Boom, they're ready to talk.
Yep.
That's a good insight.
That's good.
Encouraging, building that bridge. Hey everyone, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. We were having a great conversation with Toby, really diving into the depth of community, and we just didn't want to cut it off. We wanted to give ourselves plenty of space to just continue to talk and discover what all we can learn together. So we broke this episode up into 2 parts. You just listened to part 1, and part 2 will be coming out so soon. Tune in, you won't want to miss it. Thank you so much for listening.